Senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano, you warned us a couple of weeks ago, I think, on this show that this was coming and that the Trump administration was going to lose based on the reasons that the justices gave, the judges.
This is a unique court. This is a court without a jury. It's a federal court that sits in panels of threes. In this case, one of the three was appointed by Ronald Reagan, one by Barack Obama, one by Donald Trump. Their ruling, Mark, was nothing short of stunning and surprising. They found that the United States is not in an emergency situation with respect to the economy, as the president declared, and they found that the Congress doesn't have the authority to give the president the power to impose tariffs, and they found the statute on which the president relied doesn't even mention or authorize tariffs. So all the tariffs are negated. They gave the government 10 days to do the negation because this is an enormously complex economic matter now because the tariffs are paid and collected all around the world.
So here's the question, though, then, because obviously the administration immediately appealed. You said there is a special appeals court that this kind of case would go to.
Correct.
Before it would get to the Supreme Court.
Correct.
But, I mean, who are these judges to say, I don't believe you in an emergency? Who declares an emergency if not the President of the United States?
Great question. The statute itself defines an emergency. So Congress said, here's what an emergency is: a sudden and unexpected event that adversely affects national security or economic prosperity. What did the president say the emergency was? The imbalance of trade. How long have we had an imbalance of trade? Since 1934. So it obviously doesn't meet the definition in the statute. I know a lot of our friends and a lot of people watching now are going to say, why are three unelected judges interfering with the ability of the president of the United States to negotiate economic deals for American industry? They're not. They're doing their job of making sure the Congress stays within the confines of the Constitution and the president stays within the confines of the Constitution.
So from a next step standpoint, because obviously the president's going to say and the administration is going to say we are in an economic emergency when you combine the trade deficit with China, using the results of that trade deficit to build its military, to expand its power base. But then you also have 18 countries right now, 180 some countries coming to want to do international foreign trade deals.
Correct.
And this hinders the president's ability to conduct foreign policy,
Mark,
which the Supreme Court hates.
Mark, if I may, this more than hinders it. This undermines it. I mean, why would Ursula von der Leyen, who runs the EU, even be negotiating with President Trump now? Because all those tariffs are off the board. Technically, they're still there for the next 10 days. But the administration, unless the appellate court immediately enjoins this International Court of Trade, which I don't think they'll do, the administration has 10 days in which to wind down the tariffs. So I don't know. You know, I'm not an economist. I don't know what happens with these negotiations that they're in the middle of. The president had a sword of Damocles hanging over the head of the people with whom he's negotiating. That sword is now gone.
So, okay, so you've said there's a special court of appeals this would go to, or do they go directly to the Supreme Court? This seems to be an emergency case where the Supreme Court might want to weigh in.
You could count on one hand the times that the Supreme Court has reached down to a trial court and taken a case and bypassed the intermediate appellate court. I don't think they'll do that. The appellate court is a circuit court of appeals for the federal circuit, meaning it hears appeals from these unique courts that only deal with governmental matters. And in this court, the defendant is always the government. This is the equivalent of a circuit court of appeals. It sits in Washington, D.C. I don't know how quickly they're going to rule.
Is it a liberal court or a...
I can't even tell you that. And honestly, these three judges that ruled last night, I didn't even know who they were until we did the research when all of this
and two were appointed by Republicans, and it was unanimous.
Yes, this is a court that is well below the radar. It only deals with these international economic matters, and 99% of what it does doesn't make the front pages. This one is top of the fold.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.